Feminism it doesn't produce an ethical framework. It's based on an ethical framework.
Okay.
But it just doesn't produce it. Feminism is not a meta-ethical theory.
Okay, so there is a framework that's judging feminism.
Sure.
And you're saying feminism, according to this view, is good. What's that view?
Feminism, like what is determining that feminism is good?
So let me start by saying this. They're getting into the debate on democracy, and then they transitioned into feminism.
You already conceded that under your view, if it were the case that women collectivized and they said, you know what, we don't want the right to vote, you said, well, just don't vote. No, if the women voted to have it completely repealed, that would be fair under the democratic system.
Of course you can vote. Yeah, of course democracy can lead to authoritarianism.
How's that inconsistent with your view, though?
It's not inconsistent. Of course people can vote their own rights away.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So if women
disagree here?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If women could vote their rights away to vote, if it happened,
men could vote their rights away.
Yeah, so you should be fine with that, right? So
I mean, it wouldn't be ideal. I'm saying in defending democracy, you don't have to defend every part of what could happen in a democratic system. Democracy is the best version of government. It can sometimes go astray, and it can sometimes lead to bad outcomes.
So if you guys don't know what's going on here, they're getting into a debate on democracy. It was a conservative versus a liberal. I hope this is good. I don't even know which one is liberal or conservative at this point. I'm assuming the one with the short sleeve is conservative and the one with the long sleeve is a liberal. Let me know what you guys think about this. My name is LFR Jojo. Let's continue.
And we're not, it's just saying that's part of the reality that we live in, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that could happen.
Yeah, but even democracy itself is in a type of a contradiction.
Is what?
Democracy itself is in a type of contradiction if it can't produce something that's not itself.
What do you mean?
I'm saying that if democracy can produce all outcomes except for ridding itself of democracy.
I mean, it can.
Okay, it can, but can it here?
It could. The question of whether it could.
Is it still democracy?
Yeah, people can democratically vote away their power. That's how Hitler got into office.
Okay, so if it's still democratic, right?
Sorry, maybe I shouldn't say that.
I think you can say that.
Okay.
If that's I don't understand. That seems to be like something that's crucial to the view itself, because feminism is all downstream from you have the entitlement, and entitlements are rights. And then rights give you this voice, and then the voice gives you a vote, and the vote gives you a policy, and so on and so on.
Okay.
I don't understand why we're under the assumption that this is something like worth defending. Like, would you die to defend this system?
Defend what?
Democracy, voting, just the whole system.
Against
anything alternative that you didn't know the outcome of.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, in terms of like authoritarianism, yeah.
Okay. And authoritarianism, you would define, how do you know you're in an authoritarian system?
How do I know I'm in an authoritarian system? I guess when people's constitutional rights are being violated, when individuals are not respecting the checks and balances of the government that are currently being set up, are in place.
But aren't those things authoritarian?
What do you mean they're authoritarian?
Those structures.
How are they authoritarian? You can have democracy with safeguards. I'm not saying democracy is not direct. When we talk about democracy, it's always a trade-off between absolute, complete mob rule will of the people and some safeguards to ensure it doesn't go awry. That's kind of what a constitutional republic is. And that's kind of what the Bill of Rights is. That's what the Supreme Court is.
What I'm saying is, like, everything's authoritative in the end, and every view.
You balance it.
I know, but that's where it comes into play, is that if the topic of the debate is feminism is good for society or not.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure how feminism produces an ethical framework that anyone should appeal to at all.
Feminism doesn't produce an ethical framework. Feminism is just a description of, it doesn't produce an ethical framework. It's based on an ethical framework.
Okay.
But it just doesn't produce it. Feminism is not a meta-ethical theory.
Okay, so there is a framework that's judging feminism.
Sure.
And you're saying feminism, according to this view, is good. What's that view?
Feminism, like what is determining that feminism is good? At a certain point, some type of moral objectivism, but I don't know exactly what kind of moral objectivism that is.
So wait a second.
I can't...
Hold on, Oliver.
I can't justify the axioms of logic.
Oliver.
So let me start by saying this. They're getting into the debate on democracy, and then they transitioned into feminism. I'll just be honest. I do believe in democracy. However, I must admit America isn't under a full democracy since we have the Electoral College and we have representatives. That's not a full democracy. In America, obviously, or our founding fathers obviously decided that maybe we shouldn't be under a full democracy. But nonetheless, I don't see a reasonable alternative to the system that America already has. It's like a republic. It's like a semi-republic, semi-democratic system. I do like that system. What is the alternative? Authoritarianism? No. Authoritarianism may work if the person who is the authority agrees with you, but what if they don't agree with you? That's a very high possibility for a lot of people. I don't agree with it. So I think the system we have now is one of the better systems in the world, where you do vote, and based off of your vote, that goes to the Electoral College. And based off of that, there's a president, and you can also vote for your representatives. I think it's a very, very thorough and thought out system that we have. It's not pure democracy, but it's also not a pure republic. And it's not an authoritarianism system. So let me know what you guys think.
If you're coming to a debate and saying feminism is good for society.
Yes.
Feminism is a type of an apparatus.
Sure.
And the thing that's judging it, in this case, you are holding the metaethical view, is saying this is good for society. So you are the metaethical view, right? Is it just your preferences?
No, it's not. I could be wrong. And other people, I'm not, this doesn't collapse into relativism, because what any other kind of objective view, I mean, one that appeals to God, one that appeals to this, just says, yeah, that's right because God says it's right. And therefore I'm going to ground it in it being right because of that. So it's masking this.
Isn't that still better than a pluralistic feminism where two feminists could coexist having completely counteractive preferences and still be called feminists?
Well, you can have counteractive preferences, but what they would agree on is both of them are living valid expressions of womanhood.
Well, I mean...
That would be the agreement. If one of them believes that the other should be legally prevented from doing that or something like that, then yeah, they would not be a feminist.
Okay, so it sounds like you're now... I don't want to say shifting is like you're dancing. I'm just saying it sounds like what you're saying now is feminism is about the expression of womanhood.
I mean, it's the expression of... I don't know. It's the expression of saying that people should not be defined by their sex or gender. That they should not have their rights. They should not have their privileges taken away because
Oliver, of that. If all of the men in power, we agree it's a collective of strong men in power.
They can do that. They shouldn't. Why are we going in these circles?
No, hold on. If all of those men declared that they were women, would it still be men in power?
Would it still be men in power? Do you want to get into the woman question? Is that what you want to do?
Well, I don't know your view. I'm just wondering if there's a group of biological males who hold a position of enforcement and power in a society, if those, you point to them, right? Because the feminists are saying we're being oppressed. That's the whole point. It starts with the assumption that they're being oppressed. Well, what are they being oppressed by? By a patriarchy. Okay, those are men, right?
Yeah.
Well, if men can be not men,
we can get into that. I'd be happy. I wrote a lot about this idea of what a woman is, and the reality is, I actually don't think that it is possible to provide a set of necessary and sufficient conditions for womanhood or manhood, or what is a man or what is a woman, that includes all the people we would normally think of as women and all the people that we'd normally think of as men. So how would you, and this is a really interesting question, how would you define a woman?
A woman, someone who has the developmental pathways toward having ovaries and giving birth, even if they didn't fully develop.
Okay, so there are certain individuals who don't have that because the
pathway is always there.
The pathway isn't necessarily
there. Yes, it is.
Oh, have you heard of something like Swyer syndrome? So Sawyer syndrome.
No, the pathway is always tilted one direction or the other.
And that one is tilted towards male. In that case, I can provide the case of Sawyer syndrome for you because I had it down as an example. So Sawyer syndrome, these individuals have XY chromosomes, but during development, the SRY gene responsible for sex differentiation doesn't activate, meaning these individuals have external female genitalia and have present but underdeveloped uterus and fallopian tubes. Puberty will not occur in these individuals unless they're given hormone replacement
therapy.
Are you
pointing to the XY?
Yeah.
No, I don't appeal to that. I understand that people get. I don't appeal to XY.
Some people would be. Some people who are XY. Some people who are XY would be classified as women under your view.
Well, no, we're looking at the pathway of development, not XY.
Sure. So then, because even though they have XY, there is a pathway because of the lack of the gene down.
To categorize, to properly categorize. It is a binary in the end.
They'd be categorized as women. Okay. I mean, I'm still working out my exact view on.
But the thing is, I know you're probably debating this stuff a lot. It is relevant to feminism because we're in a phase now where if everything you thought was oppressive that was based on a binary of male and female, but you call that binary men are oppressing me. Those people would have to remove the term men and say males are oppressing me only, right?
Well, I think that men can still track something about males. Yeah, sure. Like I don't
even know what they're debating at this point. I don't even know what they're debating. They're kind of just going on a long rant about feminism and all this stuff. Nonetheless, I think the system we have now is a pretty good system. And when you try to overcomplicate things such as this, that's when the world leads to more problems. Even when it comes to feminism, there obviously are men out there who oppress women or who don't like women or who hate women. But now it just morphed into something that's complex and just it's just not true. It's all these debates and all these things going around online, and it kind of negates us getting to real issues. Nonetheless, let me know what you guys think about this video. My name is LFR Jojo. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.